DVASSIST acknowledges the traditional custodians throughout Western Australia and their continuing connection to the land, waters and community. We pay our respects to all members of Aboriginal communities and their cultures, and to the elders both past and present. This webinar was recorded on Whadjuk Noongar land. Welcome to DVASSIST webinar series. Today I have Lisa, who's a specialist family and domestic violence counsellor from DVASSIST. DVASSIST is a not-for-profit organisation providing virtual, telephone and web chat counselling support for anyone experiencing family and domestic violence over the age of 15 of any gender living in regional, rural and remote Western Australia. Welcome, Lisa.
Great, thanks for having me, Laura.
Great to have you. So, Lisa, could you tell us a bit about your role at DVASSIST?
Yeah, sure. So our role as counsellors here at DVASSIST, we provide counselling, case management and safety planning to anyone experiencing family and domestic violence. So those people who are experiencing violence live in regional, rural and remote areas of WA. So what we do is we provide counselling either as a one-on-one, so someone may be able to contact us by phone or via web chat if they just like a bit of support as a one-off. Otherwise, we also do accept referrals for people that would like ongoing sessions, and majority of those times those sessions are about 6. However, some people may want less, some people may want more. We just work with the way that the client would like to do that. So
Excellent, excellent. So how do you support someone who may be experiencing violence, who's actually living in a regional, rural and remote town in Western Australia? Now, I know you've just touched on a few of the services, but could you just give us a bit more information about what that looks like for someone who's accessing the service?
Yeah, sure. So for people that may be wondering if they are in domestic violence, are currently in family and domestic violence or have experienced, they can give us a call on our 1-800 number. So when they call that number, they will come straight through to a counsellor. So they're connected straight to one of us here at DVASSIST. We basically let them lead the session. So we will start with, where would you like to start? It's entirely up to you. It's totally client-led. They can start wherever they may feel comfortable. So it might be something that has happened to them in the past, something that's happening now. It might be something as simple as a VRO has just been issued yesterday and they would like to talk about it. So that gives them a chance to explore how they're feeling, what they've experienced and what they would like to achieve. For people who may call who would like safety planning, they might be in a situation where they're currently experiencing violence or have experienced violence and having issues with the person using violence, and may want to discuss ways to keep them and their children safe. So we can look at different ways and work with their strengths and what they're already doing and expand on that. And then there may be others, what we in the industry call case management. So case management is working with a client to determine what their goals are, what's important to them, setting the processes in place together. So working collaboratively to look at those processes to achieve those goals and evaluating together along the way to ensure those goals are still important and relevant to that client, and if those goals are going to be achieved or not, or if we need to look at other options. So yeah.
Sounds like it's really at the person who calls pace, and it's meeting what they need at that point in time, whether it be historical, current or in the recovery. And also DVASSIST provide these services from 7 a.m. till midnight, 7 days a week. So that's just an excellent service for people living in regional communities.
Definitely, yeah.
So I think you touched on it a little bit actually. When would someone who may be experiencing violence contact you?
They may give us a call at any time of their journey, so any part of their journey. So as I mentioned before, there might be people who are experiencing something in their relationship that may not feel normal. So they may want to chat and just say, look, this is what's happening to me. I don't know if this is normal. Am I in an abusive situation or a violent situation? So they may be starting at the beginning point of contemplating if they are, is what they're experiencing in that relationship normal. It might also be someone who is currently experiencing violence and aware of violence in their relationship and wanting to talk about how they can keep them and their children safe while staying, or they may contemplate whether to leave. And then we work on with their client on that, on putting steps in place to leave safely if that's what they would like to do. And it might also be people who have already left. And like I mentioned, people who have left maybe wanting to know how they can recover from the trauma. Is there practical steps that they might need in regards to housing or financial support or counselling, which is where we come in, or linking in with other services as well that might be able to support them, like Department of Housing or other housing services. So everyone's at a different part of their journey. It may also be friends and family who may not know how to support so, a loved one experiencing through violence and going through family and domestic violence. So they may want to, how can look at ways on how they can support their friends and family as well. So
Great. So it can be a really big first step, picking up the call or jumping on a web chat to speak to someone about your situation. How does DVASSIST help to overcome that fear of actually picking up that phone and web chat?
yeah, so for anybody that is going to contact us, we all understand it's a massive step. It takes a lot of courage for someone to give us a call or jump online and initiate a chat on web chat. So we always ensure that we're there to listen. We go at the client's pace, however they would like to do it. We remain non-judgmental and we don't give people advice, I think, which is really important, and to tell them what to do, because what we may do may not be appropriate for them. We may look at things differently. We're not them. So I feel that's really important to remember that and just go with the way that their pace, understand their challenges. We also do understand the challenges of living in country areas, and so understanding they may not have additional supports, or understanding the supports that are available in their region.
That's really important, isn't it, to have that regional lens, so that when you are discussing options, it's actually providing a regional option, not a metro option.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really hear that. Great. And you also mentioned before that when someone actually calls a service, it's directly through to a counsellor.
Yes.
So there's no
Yeah.
administration to go through. It's you're straight on the phone, and it's going at where they want to actually start at.
Exactly. And I think that's really important for clients to understand that they get through to one of us as well, without, like you said, without going through admin and, multiple triages. You come through to someone that's there to support straight away, which is really important, I feel.
So how does DVASSIST support someone who has a disability?
So all of the DVASSIST counsellors, we're all trained in working with people living with disabilities, and understanding the challenges that people may face who are living with a disability, and also who are living in a violent situation. So we maintain integrity at all times, respect, non-judgmental. We're there to support. So we do understand how living with a disability may be challenging for a lot of people, and it is a bit different for others. So we are trained in that. We also, in our intake forms or our referral forms, we do ask the question, is somebody living with a disability? And that allows us to look into different language, understanding what they may or may not understand. It also allows us for safety planning as well, if there happens to be a physical disability, to ensure we're referring to an appropriate service or a refuge that is accessible, which I feel is really important. And also understanding if a client has a disability, if they might be using communication devices as well, or if a client is deaf, for example, understanding those interpreting services there that help people who are deaf, for example, to understand. And DVASSIST is actually in the process of looking at our website to make it more accessible for clients as well.
Excellent, excellent. And so how does DVASSIST work with people who identify as LGBTQIA+?
Again, it's really important to always be non-judgmental, for people that are living in same-sex relationships or gender or sexuality diverse. We feel it's really important to be non-judgmental, be really accepting of people, make people feel really welcome, and work with their strengths as well. Again, to understand stigma, which for a lot of people it can be a big issue. The stigma of being LGBTIQA plus or HIV positive, for example, to understand the stigma around that and the challenges that may prevent them from seeking help. So it's really important for us to understand those challenges and be supportive and let them lead the conversation again. They're the expert in their lives. They're the experts. So we're going to work with them in their strengths and allow them to lead it.
Wonderful. And how about how DVASSIST works with people who identify as Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander and those that are from culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds?
Yeah, so all of the counsellors here at DVASSIST, we've all worked with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in one way or another, in one aspect. So we did recently actually have cultural awareness training here in Perth. However, we are aware with that cultural awareness training, which was brilliant to understand there might be differences with people and, differences with people in different regions of WA as well. So Perth people may be different to someone living in the Kimberley. So that's really important for us to understand that and to understand, different parts with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander with the intergenerational trauma, dispossession, and the trauma that's lingering still from stolen generation. I feel that's really important that we understand that as well. And for a lot of people who might have lost their culture, lost language, lost their history, it's really important to acknowledge that. And if we can work with that person holistically as well for their whole well-being, I feel is really important as well. So us here at DVASSIST, we try to work within that if possible and where we can and look at the person as a whole person and look at their whole entire community and what the challenges are in their communities as well. And then you mentioned CALT. So for people from culturally and linguistically diverse people, we work with those people again, allow them to lead the conversation, but we are aware of the challenges that people face. A big one that we come across is people who may not be aware of Australia or in particular WA's laws. So it may be very different from their country of origin of what their rights are. So we go through that and we link them into appropriate services in regards to that as well. We also are aware that immigration status and visa abuse is a massive issue for a lot of people who are called. So understanding that is a big challenge there for a lot of people as well. A lot of cultural differences. So the way men and women view each other may be different to Australia. So we try to understand that, be curious, understand that where we can. So it's important to acknowledge that as culture is a huge factor for a lot of people. It's very important to them, as it should be. And another thing, if we do have a client where there may be a language barrier or where English isn't their first language, we do work through an interpreter service as well. So that may assist other people too in accessing support.
Excellent. And so how can someone get in touch with DVASSIST?
So for clients who are looking for support, they can even look at our website, which is www.dvassist.org.au. There's information on there with quizzes, general information, looking on there. They can give us a call on the 1-800 number, or they can access us through the live chat service. So if they wanted to do that themselves, they definitely can. More than happy to work with clients self-referring. Otherwise, they may go through another organisation who can send in a referral form to us with their consent, and we can work through that way as well.
Thanks so much, Lisa. And just